Hey, what's up, everybody? I think it's like 5 in the morning. I've been up all night. Um, Before I get into what I want to talk about on this video, I'm I'm like anybody else out here, man, going through this struggle. I mean, we got all of this civil unrest going on. We got the protests. We got this pandemic that's where the numbers are spiking up. We got people like myself out here waiting for our unemployment benefits to go through, waiting for um, just everything to kind of line up. And mind you, me personally, I'm dealing with some health issues with my back. I mean, I have intense pains where it's shooting up from the lower end of my back to all the way up to my neck. It doesn't matter if I'm cutting grass or if I'm going to the grocery store to get a few things. I'm riding a bus. I don't have transportation in order right now. But I'm just weathering this season the best way I can. And since I'm, you know, going through this transition, I've been putting a lot of my energy into writing and just staying up on keeping myself abreast with what the current events that's going on out here. But with all that said, I know maybe some of y'all out there watching, you're going through the same trials yourself. I'm not here to give you some sappy, encouraging message. All I can tell you to do is what I tell myself every day. Just hang in there and hold on and trust God that He'll, make a way and provide your needs. That's all I can tell you on that. I'm not I'm the last person to be trying to give anybody any advice or tell you how to live. I'm just a regular everyday dude that's dope with my pen and hoping to turn that into my own black owned business. I mean, technically, I am my own boss when it comes to the writing, but it's just not generating any revenue at this juncture. But I'm anticipating that that's going to soon change. But one thing I want to talk about, and I want to try to keep my videos because I'm gonna just start putting content out there and just chancing it and seeing where it goes. One thing I want to talk about that I want to kind of focus on real quickly is the officers in Wilmington, North Carolina that were fired from their positions because of some racial remarks they made. And they were very derogatory from what they said that was on tape. I mean, these guys were going as far as saying they were going to get weapons and take all the niggers out and to set them back for 4 generations. And it was all kind of craziness. With that said, the talk has been going around about white nationalists, radical extremists, well, not racial, but racist groups that advocate, violence, bringing harm to a group of people, innocent people at that. Um, I think it is time that Washington puts something together, and sooner the better, to label these guys terrorists and prosecute them to the highest letter of the law. Mind you, those guys, even though they got fired, they're still free. They're still free to go out here and do all that shit they were talking about. And yeah, they can say, well, we stressed out about the job. It's been frustrating lately. And I don't know what it is like to be a police officer. And I know it has to be a very nightmarish situation considering the elements you have to deal with and the nature of unpredictability. But when you go into law enforcement, you know what you're signing up for. And if you're not built for that, you shouldn't even be doing it, especially if you're going in knowing that your job is to be a public servant to protect and serve the community, and yet you're going in with all these biases and all these ideals in your head, and you're just abusing your position of authority, using it as a sword of power and justice on some vigilante shit. Not cool at all. And people wonder why there's such distrust toward law enforcement officials. And with that said, there definitely needs to be something done as far as the hiring practices. I think when you're dealing with a field of work like that, you need to do some deep psychological analysis on these individuals. Maybe even make them take some lie detector tests just to make certain that you got some good character people wearing that badge. Because the last thing we need is more racists in positions of authority, in positions of power, in positions of leadership. It's very damaging to the fabric of this country, and it's damaging as far as progression is concerned. So I don't know. I wish there was something I could do. I wish there was a way I could put a petition together and take it to Washington myself. But I don't have the resources to pull that off. So I'm gonna put that out there. Let's figure out some way to make that happen, because to have these individuals looming our streets, knowing that in any given moment they're a ticking time bomb ready to explode. We don't need any more mass shootings. And that's the biggest reason I keep thinking about this. I keep going back to Las Vegas or San Bernardino, Columbine. All these mass shootings is getting over the top. And to know that we have a government that's not putting any initiatives in place to counter these situations before it comes to a head is baffling. I'm not gonna go into if it was a black man, y'all would have did. Fuck that. I I am well aware of what it is for a black man. I lived it. I've experienced it all my 49 years. So I don't need to validate my stance as far as what understanding the struggle or whatever. I'm just focusing simply on one thing. Let's let's make some changes. Let's really back these racist fuckers against the wall. Because as long as you don't do nothing to put any laws in place to say, hey, if you commit this crime, if you adaptate to this particular ideology, this is what you're going to be faced with. Maybe they'll have second thoughts before they loosely speak that kind of nonsense about taking people out. That's where all of our problems come from. The bias within the landscape of Washington. There's so many things that could be avoided if they would really just proactively get it together, even if they have to cross the aisles and come up with some real solid solutions that's going to help progress our culture forward. Right now, everything's really bumpy. You got to understand anytime that any kind of change, especially a revolutionary type of change, is springing forth, it's going to cause a lot of discomfort. It is what it is. And it's necessary because that's part of growing pains. We have to, as a nation, grow out of this to grow into a better version of ourselves. So yeah, if anybody has any ideas about a petition or something that we can get to Washington, get at me. Let's get some people together. Let's tag some people. Let's get it all over Twitter, Instagram. Let's do this. Let's not talk about it. We need to make these people accountable for their actions. If you can label a radical Islamic group as terrorist, you can label a Klansman or a neo-Nazi or a white nationalist radical regime as terrorist as well. For you not to even put hands on that, it speaks volumes. It just says that for some reason you don't want to have nothing to do with it. or you feel like it's not an issue. And I think my mind, and I'm sure others will agree, that it is problematic. So I'm going to leave it at that. While I'm going through my shit, I'm going to post videos. I'm not going to say when, how, where. I'm going to have a YouTube. I already got a YouTube channel under Dasher Rob that I'm going to post these videos on. And I'm going to just keep putting content out there and hoping that it gains some traction. This could really help me out as far as my movement. And the last thing I want to state before I go, yes, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a writer, self-published, been doing this for over 10 years as far as the self-publishing dynamic goes. And it's been rough. Being a black-owned business that's trying to work something from the ground up is, it serves many difficulties, but I never let it stand in my way. But I am not in a position where I can go to a bank and get a loan, business loan, startup loan to really help push the agenda farther. And then on top of that, as far as getting a grant, I have no knowledge of how to write a grant proposal or who would I even approach. Because I have all type of ideals and visions I have in mind as far as things that's going to take me where this business needs to go. And it's not just going to be limited to books. I'm going to have different merchandise I'm going to be selling. There's a lot of different things I'm going to incorporate under the umbrella of my publishing name, which is called Panoramic Ink, by the way. While we're in this moment of talking about black-owned businesses and support more, somebody out there have any way they can throw me an anchor, I'm open. Hit me up, inbox me, email me. Let's do something. Because I got some dope material I'm sitting on. I'm 21 books deep in the game, baby. And I ain't no slouch with it. I just don't have the access or the exposure I need to get in front of that audience. And I even got YouTube audios you can listen to. And I'm a toot my own horn. I'm a phenomenal writer. Check me out. You'll see for yourself. So with all that said, sorry this video had to go about 12 minutes long, but it was worth it. Thank you for your support. Let's keep this movement going strong. Peace.